7 months. It's basketball time in the kennel. Welcome back to Spokane. Welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center, and welcome back to college basketball on ESPN+. Tonight we get the party started right with a longtime regional rivalry as the Gonzaga Bulldogs take on the Montana Grizzlies. Well, we are so happy to see you again to start the year. Greg Talbot with former Gonzaga assistant coach Michelle Clark. Well, Gonzaga has so many new players this year. We're going to introduce you to all of them in just a minute. But the most important thing, Michelle, is that Yvonne Ejim chose to come back for one more year.
Yes, she did, and I am so excited to see her in her final season here with the Zags. Listen, it's no surprise that Yvonne is the best player when she steps on the court, and every team is going to come in geared and ready to go. I mean, she's an All-American preseason watch list nominees, a long laundry list of them. So the game plan is going to be not can you stop Yvonne, because she's so good she's going to get her points, but how can you limit her, and that's going to be a tall task for Montana tonight.
She was an honorable mention All-American last year, West Coast Conference Player of the Year, and the Conference Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best to ever do it in a Gonzaga uniform. Well, the good news for Montana is that they have a forward that can try to stop Yvonne tonight, Michelle, and that is Danny Barch. She went for a double-double against the Zags last year.
She did. Danny Barch is a 6'2", senior preseason All-Big Sky team. She was voted second team All-Big Sky. She set a new program record for rebounds in a season, 342, and became the first Lady Grizz to lead the Big Sky in rebounding. When we talk about a battle of the boards, we are in for a treat tonight with the two of the best in Barch and Ejim.
No doubt about it. Well, under Lisa Fortier, beginning her 11th year as the head coach of the program tonight. That went fast. Here's their starting lineup. It is familiar faces at 2 through 5. Claire O'Connor, Matt Hybens, Esther Little, and Yvonne Ejim. But they are really excited, Michelle, about Ines Betancourt running the point. They got her in the transfer portal from UConn.
Yes, and it's no surprise that we had some shoes to fill with the Trong sisters leaving last season, right? Listen, UConn is a solid, high-level program. Everybody knows that. I'm excited to see Betancourt bring that balance of poise and urgency, which is critical for that point guard position. I'm excited to see what she's got.
And here's the starting five for the Grizz. We're keeping an eye on Mac Koenig. She is a dead-eye three-point shooter. Well, Gonzaga has won 36 in a row in this building. That's the second longest streak in the sport behind South Carolina. And they've won 11 in a row against the Grizz. And the season is underway. This is Ines Betancourt running the point, that UConn transfer who they are so excited to have. This Bulldogs team won 32 games last year and made it to the Sweet 16, Michelle, but they lost some of the best players in school history, minus that gal right there, Yvonne Ejim. Like we said, they lost so many of their best players to the WNBA draft into graduation. Would you call this a rebuilding year for the Zags?
In a way, with some really good key components, right? You got Yvonne Ejim, who's an All-American. We just saw her start the game, right? Nice little jumper there in her element. So, yes, rebuilding in a sense, but they've got some good key components to build off of.
This is MJ Bruno to inbound. We're going to be talking about her and a couple other Grizz a lot tonight, not only because they're so talented, and they are, as Danny Barch gets into the lane here. They throw it out of bounds. We're also going to be talking about MJ Bruno and quite a few Grizz because a lot of them are from right here in Spokane, or at least the immediate area. A couple Spokanites, a couple from Coeur d'Alene. This Montana team has a lot of Spokane ties as well.
They do. And how fun is it to come to Spokane at the McCarthy Athletic Center and show what you got?
And Matt Koenig gets the first shot of the season down for the Grizz. Like we said, she's a deep shooter, but she also connects on a lot of her shots. Scored 12 points a game on average last year. Here's Claire O'Connor with an answer for the Bulldogs.
And that was questionable coming into this game for the Zags. Who was going to step up from the outside? Nice to see O'Connor hit an early shot.
They're expecting a big breakout year from her.
Yes, they are, and they need it, right? With as much presence as Ejim creates inside, they need O'Connor to knock down some shots on the outside.
Koenig into the lane, forced it up. That one might have gone off the hands of Esther Little. No, it'll be a Zag ball back. And here's Ines Betancourt probably, I would say, Michelle, the new face that people are most excited to see.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Especially that point guard position, right? That gets a lot of attention. They're kind of that floor general. It'll be interesting to see, what she creates with the Zag team.
Out to Mount Hybens. He got a big three from the forward to start things off.
Well, if that doesn't stretch the defense a little bit to create some more opportunity for Ejim on the inside, I'd say that's a wonderful start for them.
Betancourt takes it away. In transition. Tried to lay it off to Yvonne Ejim. That one goes bouncing out of bounds, and that's the kind of play that will get cleared up the more they play together.
Absolutely, right? And you see Ejim, her response there. She's like, oh, right off of my fingertips. Yeah, the more time those two spend together, it'll just become like bread and butter as we get into the season.
Betancourt finds Claire O'Connor. If you know Gonzaga, you know ball screens, men's and women's program. That's a staple. Esther Little to the 10.
Great solid take by Little. She saw that opening little left-hand drive. She's a lefty, so that's her strong side. Nice to see her attack the rim.
Can you believe she is already a senior? Time flies. It feels like she just got here.
It does. It seems like every year the Zags just got here.
And that was a big three by MJ Bruno. One of the Spokanites on this team from Montana. Played for Central Valley High School in Spokane. That's a team that has been loaded in the past.
Oh, yeah. And, that, championships, you name it. They had Division I players come out of that program. And a fun little fact, Bruno's mom played at Gonzaga.
A couple of the Montana Grizzlies' moms actually played for the Zags. We'll talk about that later on the night as Hybens gets tangled up with Alex Pyrog. And the Grizz will get this one back. That'll be a foul on Mount Hybens. Montana will go to the bench for the first time. Adria Lincoln, 6'1" sophomore from Monroe, Washington. That's over on the west side. Checks in. And Gonzaga doubling Montana up here in the first 3 minutes of this new basketball season. They keep trying to feed it into the guards driving to the hoop, I would say, Michelle, instead of the forwards.
And you saw there they were trying to post up Betancourt to see if they could get a little mismatch, but Betancourt did a great job moving her feet and getting in front.
Once again, Matt Koenig forces it up. Zags will get this one back, but Koenig's gone to the 10 a couple of times and put up shots that maybe aren't the most wise.
Yeah, and that's just like maybe, some early game jitters, right? Just trying to create something. She just needs to settle in and try to let the offense come to her.
Here's Betancourt. And now over to Ejim. Hit a big three to start the game. This time takes the 2. A little bit hard off the rim. That's early season stuff. And Betancourt saves it. Her former head coach at UConn, Gina Oriyama, said she is a true point guard.
She is. You can tell she's a floor general. She's looking around.
That's off the foot.
Kick basketball, I was going to say. But, yeah, you need that. And like we said earlier in the open, losing the Trong sisters, that was a huge hit for the Zags, and just having that floor general. So being able to pick her up out of the transfer portal was a really good grab for the Zags this season.
Bulldogs go to the bench for the first time. McKinley Dalen will check in, as will one of the players we are so excited to watch tonight, number 11, Allie Turner. I know it's early to say this, but boy, after what we saw from her in the exhibition and the scrimmage, people think she might be one of the next great Gonzaga shooters off the bench.
Yes, I was able to watch their shoot-around today, and man, is that a fluid shot. Nice little dump down low for an easy 2 for the Zags there. I like how they're working it through their posts.
That was McKinley Dalen, who transferred in from the University of Minnesota. Got limited playing time in that exhibition against the College of Idaho over the weekend. There she is. She played in some big games for the Gophers, got in against Iowa. Not everyone can say that in the Caitlin Clark era.
Yes.
And they turn it over. And here comes Betancourt, one-on-one. A transfer, 4-2.
Nice. I love that smooth little jump stop in between the lane, using her body, and just knocked it down.
Coach Lisa Fortier says Enesh has a great balance of poise and urgency when the moment matters most. And Lincoln goes flying in on a shot, and looks like she draws the foul. that'll be on Betancourt, her first. And there is head coach Lisa Fortier. Can you believe it's already season number 11?
No. It's gone way too fast. I mean, even just looking at her kids, too, and how fast they've grown up. I mean, 11 seasons, this is truly her program to the tilt, right? Like, she has created such a great culture here, and these teams that come in and out, they appreciate being here.
And here is Allie Turner running the point now. As they put Betancourt over to the 2, it looks, give her a chance to shoot a little bit. Turner went 5 for 5 shooting in the scrimmage against Arizona State, as McKinley Dalen is now 2 for 2 in this game.
You know, I was going to say, Dalen in shoot-around this morning, I was like, she has a smooth shot. I like seeing her taking that elbow jumper.
Koenig to the rim, again can't convert. That's the 3rd time. She has forced one up pretty hard in the lane.
And again, it's hard when you've got such tall, big bodies down low. She's maybe trying to avoid contact, and that's not serving her well right now.
Zags up 10 about 5 minutes into this game. We'll head to an early break, but man, the Zags are ready despite all those new faces.
They really are.
We told you at the beginning of the broadcast that Gonzaga lost a lot of their big names. Kaylin Trong and Brenna Maxwell went in the draft. Kaylee Trong and Eliza Hollingsworth graduated, and they had a couple outbound transfers. Put that all together, and from last year to this year, they lost 66% of their points scored, 66% of their minutes played, and 93% of their three-point shooting. Michelle, that is no small thing to overcome.
It really isn't, you know, and so I say we've got big shoes to fill here, and there's going to be some time of these Zags finding their new identity with this group, but they'll find it.
Foul off the inbound against the Zags. And Montana gets this one back. And to inbound it here is one of those local gals that we talked about for the Grizzlies, number 10 to throw it in. That's Avery Waddington, true freshman from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, played for Lake City. That's about half an hour from here. She had 19 Division I offers coming out of high school.
That's a nice little package to display of people who want you to go play for them.
That's Isabella Zingaro going off the glass. She's got it for 2. And Montana might figure this out here, Michelle. They're going to go to their forwards, not rely on their guards to keep driving and missing.
Yes, and that's the adjustment that needed to happen coming out of a timeout like that. Hey, get it inside, get some bunnies, some easy looks.
Another pure shot from McKinley Dalen. She is 3 for 3 in her first game as a Zag.
That's a nice little outing for Dalen. You like to see her shooting the ball like that. She's got a nice, smooth jumper. She's getting some confidence with every time she sees the ball go through the net.
They keep getting stuffed once they go down the lane. Here's MJ Bruno. She'll try her hand at it, and she will get fouled.
And I guarantee you, Coach Fortier is telling them in the timeout, why are they getting these drives to the rim? They're getting too close to the rim, right? And so defense is going to adjust a little bit. But great job by the Grizz, still getting it down low and attacking and getting themselves to the free throw line, and see if Bruno can knock down these 2 shots.
Well, MJ Bruno at the line here is used to playing Gonzaga, and that's almost an understatement. Not only is she from Spokane, she played for 2 years at the University of Portland in their conference, and now she's in her second year at Montana, who always plays Gonzaga.
I know, and she was part of that Portland team that beat the Zags in the tournament, right? So she's probably coming in with a little bit of confidence of like, hey, they're beatable. We can beat them, but they're on their home court. So the Grizz are going to have to really dial some things in here.
Speaking of Spokane natives who know something about Gonzaga, you just saw number 5, Tyler McClement Call on your screen. Also from Spokane, also played in the Valley, but she played for U-High, not Central Valley. There is Allie Turner, her first big 3 as a Gonzaga Bulldog. And man, people are so excited about her, Michelle. She had 12 points off of 3s in their exhibition.
Great turnaround by the Grizz to be able to recognize that little dump down. Zags need to get it back and start marking up sooner.
Betancourt lays it off for Hybens, knocked away, no foul. And this will stay with the Zags. Little higher pace, I would say, coming out of that first break.
Yeah, it's a smoother pace. Both teams are pushing the basketball, looking for those opportunity breaks, which is really nice. Turner, nice little sharpshooter. She is going to be a good sharpshooter for this Zag team.
Into Mount Hybens. Back to Turner. Allie Turner, welcome to Spokane. Back to back.
Hey, that was a big question mark coming into this game is, do the Zags have the manpower from the outside to knock down shots? Well, they've got Allie Turner, and she's knocking them down.
Here's Tyler McClement Call. Her mom played basketball for Gonzaga in the 90s. They'll wave that off, and it's a travel. Allie Turner, so let's give you the numbers. She was 5 for 5 from the field in their scrimmage against Arizona State before the season started. She had 14 against the College of Idaho in their exhibition last weekend. 12 of those came off threes. Coach Lisa Fortier said by the time she's done, Michelle, she may end up being one of the best pure shooters in Gonzaga history.
I can see it. It only took me a few minutes to watch her during shoot around to say, yep, I can see that, Coach.
Ejim. Gotta love it when they actually give her one-on-one defense.
Yes.
That's going to be hard to come by this year.
And that's what happens when you have outside shooters, right? They have to play the shooters honest, and that gives Yvonne Ejim a wide-open lane to the rim, right or left, whichever way she wants to take it.
This is Pyrog. And she traveled. Maud Hybens did a nice job bodying her up there.
Yeah, she did. Great defense, just reading her, bodying up to her. If she's going to bring the ball above her head, Hybens is going to get into her. Great defensive possession there.
They'll send Pyrog back to the bench and bring in Isabella Zingaro for her second round of minutes. Man, she looks tough. She's a transfer from Iowa State.
Yeah, a lot of good transfers, right? Now that transfer portal is just open, it's fun to see some of these kids show up on, some of the Grizz, the Gonzaga teams, and see what they can do. Is that a foul down low?
That's a foul on Montana. Looks like that'll be a foul on Barch, her first personal. If they can get her in trouble, that'd be good news for the Zags. Speaking of good news, Esther Little with a wide open rebound there. Does Esther need to shoot more this year, or can she just keep being defensive and rebounding oriented?
I think that's going to depend on a few things, right? If Turner keeps showing up and shooting the way she does, and if other teammates show up, then yeah, that's all that they'll need out of Esther. But if not, they might need her to step up occasionally and knock down some more shots.
Here's Koenig. She's only 1 for 4 shooting. Nearly gave that one up, but Zingaro recovers, and they do give it up, and it's Ejim weaving her way through traffic, but it was tipped out of bounds by the Grizz.
And even though it's tipped out of bounds, that right there, we didn't see it to completion, but that's what makes Yvonne Ejim such an All-American, right? She's going to steal the basketball from inside the key and go coast to coast. We've seen her do it so many times. This one got knocked out, but man, how many times have we seen her go coast to coast on people?
Betancourt into Turner. Wondering if she was going to shoot with the man in her face there. Here's Little. Clearly not so afraid to shoot this year. That's good news. She gets up, looks like she's in a little pain. That was not a good face.
Yeah, she landed on her tailbone, it looked like.
That's Koenig, 1 for 5 from the floor. She needs a little more space. Up court, Ejim 2.
I mean, that's the bread and butter in the transition between those two, and I love seeing Betancourt feed Ejim that early. If those two can do that all season long, it's going to be good things for the Zags.
Zags on a 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes. Koenig squares up and finally gets another one down. But see, that's her shot, Michelle. She's a dead-eye outside shooter.
She is, and you know what? They're going to need that to climb out of this little bit of a hole that they've got themselves into.
45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Zags nearly doubling up Montana in this season opener. Ejim, laser beam 3.
Well, I guess everybody on the Zags is going to shoot the 3 tonight. Why not?
Man, the Zags are 5 for 7 from downtown to start this game tonight after they lost 93% of their three-point shooting from last year.
Well, I wonder if that, puts a hold to Coach Fortier's question mark earlier today of who's going to show up from the outside. Well, the whole team is, Coach.
Koenig. 5 seconds in the quarter, 3 to shoot. Bruno got to put it up, and she ran out of time. Zags will have about 3 seconds and change here to end the quarter. Claire O'Connor checks in, so does McKinley Dalen. And they'll send the posts to the bench so they have a better chance to make a jump shot here with 3.3 on the clock.
And with the way they're shooting, if they get an open look, it's probably going down.
Betancourt at the horn. A little bit hard off the rim, but an electric first quarter of this Gonzaga basketball season. The Bulldogs 13 for 19. They're shooting 66% from the field, and they lead 31-15.
Honey, do you want me to schedule Calvin's COVID-19 and flu shots?
Way ahead of you.
It's impossible.
It's magic.
Stay out of trouble, Squirt.
Schedule free flu and COVID-19 vaccines for the whole family online today. Walgreens.
Are you looking for the powerful roar of a work truck, the quiet performance of an EV, or the creature comforts of a hybrid SUV? Whatever you need, the best place to see them, touch them, drive them is at the Seattle International Auto Show, presented by BECU. Test drives, demonstrations, and details all under one roof. Live at Lumen Field Event Center Thursday through Sunday, November 14 through 17. Discover your drive. For tickets and info, visit SeattleAutoShow.com today.
TJ. JJ.
Lateral races. Brutal.
TJ.
It's time to play offense. Turn it up. Whoa, let's cool it, you two.
Mom.
NWSL quarterfinals on ABC and ESPN+.
The time has come. Two larger-than-life legends collide.
Sean Jones is back, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Stipe is the most successful heavyweight of all time.
History will be made.
This is MMA at the highest level.
And the world will be watching. One fight for all time.
Oh, Madison Square, catch me at the fight.
The time has come. Two larger-than-life legends collide.
Sean Jones is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Stipe is the most successful heavyweight of all time.
And the world will be watching.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus. Sign up today.
The State Farm Champions Classic, Tuesday on ESPN.
Zags up 16 at the end of the first quarter to start this season in the McCarthy Athletic Center. Boy, Michelle Clark, Gonzaga 5 for 7 from 3, out-rebounding the Grizz 8-2. Montana, 6 turnovers. The Bulldogs came out of the gates crazy and ready to go.
They really did. And the Grizz kind of got taken aback just a little bit. They've had some silly turnovers just like that one right there. They've had looks at the rim but haven't been able to convert. But the big one that stands out to me, Greg, is rebounds. They have not been able to get any second chance opportunities. And if they can give themselves more chances to score, that's how they're going to be able to crawl out of this.
A little surprising considering that even though they're in the Big Sky, Montana does have height, but not enough defense to stop Yvonne Ejim, who now already has 11 points, 11 minutes into this game.
And again, if you get stuck behind Ejim, it's game over.
Yeah.
You have got to get in front of her. She's just too good of a player.
We have an off-the-ball foul that should be on Ejim as well, and it is. That'll be her first personal. It's funny, Michelle, Coach Lisa Fortier said in her press conference after that exhibition game as O'Connor takes the turnover. that even though they know everyone's going to be double teaming Yvonne Ejim this year, they're not going to stop going to her.
No, and I love that. And why wouldn't you, right? That's your bread and butter. That's your All-American. You keep going to her until you say, hey, maybe she's having an off game. Let's make an adjustment. But why wouldn't you go to her?
McKinley Dalen finally missed a shot there for Gonzaga after starting her career tonight. 3 for 3 at GU. Montana working here in the mid-range. Here's Avery Waddington from Coeur d'Alene. And couldn't turn around Ejim. Inside 10 to shoot. Here comes Bruno down the lane, forced it up, and Ejim the rebound.
Good take by Bruno, but man, I kind of maybe underestimated Bettencourt and how long her arms are. She really had a hand in her face and made that difficult.
Dalen dials up another big shot. That one counts for 3. I love this confidence in her first game as a Zag.
I do too. It's like green light. If they're gonna stay off of you a couple steps, shoot the basketball.
Waddington, a little hard off the back rim, and O'Connor the rebound. Man, this team is playing with chemistry that looks like they've been playing together for a while, and Dalen gets fouled.
It's funny how you knock down a couple outside shots and things start to just feel smooth. It opens up that inside-outside game and it allows them to just kind of run freely like they are.
Esther Little checks back in, and Allie Turner heads to the bench. And Dalen will go to the free throw line here. She's only a sophomore, only got 1 year under her belt at Minnesota, but kind of nice for her to be at least closer to home back in the Northwest. She's from Montesano, Washington. That's over on the west side. So, you know, shy of playing for like UW, this is the way you get to come home, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And how fun. I'm sure her family's going to be able to come to more games and watch her in the kennel, which is such a wonderful experience in and of itself. And then watching her have an opener game like she's having thus far, pretty special.
There she goes to the bench. 11 points out of the gate. You've got to be kidding me. So good. Here's Macy Donarski. She's getting her first burn of minutes tonight. And a charge.
You know, this is 3 possessions now where the Grizz have not been able to convert anything to points. They've had, you know, missed opportunities on turnovers or travels or layups. This is not necessarily the Grizz team that we're used to seeing. It might just be being frazzled, being in the McCarthy Athletic Center and trying to get their feet under them. But, man, they are just digging a hole even deeper.
Esther Little trapped in the corner, but she got aggressive on offense in the first quarter at least, and they give that one up.
And this is the opportunity, right? So every one of these that the Zags turns the ball over or has a missed shot, the Grizz has to capitalize on these moments.
Koenig has not stopped being aggressive. She'll pop and shoot and come up a little bit short. Second chance for Zingaro, and the Iowa State transfer has it. Man, she looks tough down there. I wouldn't want to bang her. I wouldn't want to bang up against her in the paint.
100%. She's a big body. She's strong. I mean, she's going after it, and that was a second chance look there, right, Greg? And that's what they're going to need to get more opportunities at.
Here's Koenig. Love the fact that she has not stopped shooting despite the fact that she started cold.
Yes, right? Never stop shooting. Good shooters just never stop shooting. I don't care how many you've missed.
Koenig all the way with the left. No. And Ejim the rebound. You know, people forget how good a rebounder Yvonne is because of how often she scores as Bettencourt gets to.
Yes. Good, strong take by Bettencourt. That was a nice move, but you're 100% right. We do forget about Ejim because she's such a good scorer and she does so many things on the floor, but rebounds, I mean, she typically puts up 10, 12 rebounds a game.
Here's Barch. Man, they have held their MVP quietly tonight. There's Lincoln into the lane, and Mount Hybens gets the rebound. Mount back for another year, the WCC 6th man of the year last year. Little off the rim, no. And Koenig the board, and here she comes in transition. They keep giving her just enough space. And here goes Barsh behind the back, tipped away. O'Connor has it. Up to Betancourt. It's 2-on-1, and the UConn transfer spins it in.
I love that. She is not afraid to take it to the rim, do a little up and under on the left side. That is a sign of a really good point guard who understands the concept of basketball and maneuvering her body. This is going to be fun to watch her throughout this season.
That one up and good from Adria Lincoln, but back on the Zag side here, she brings it up. Ines already 6 points on 3 for 5 shooting and 4 assists.
Yeah, she's a floor general, right? She knows when it's her opportunity to score and when she needs to dish it out.
Betancourt pops and scores. Make that 8 points now.
Feeling it, right? Everybody's just feeling it.
Man, we came into this game not knowing how Gonzaga was going to look with so many new faces. The answer is they look just as electric as last year, believe it or not.
Absolutely. And you know, it's funny, I was talking to Coach Fortier and I said, you know, well, the one consistent is your defense. And that has been tried and true in her program. Defensively, they've always been very, very sound, and that is proving itself tonight, too.
Allie Turner back in off the bench for the Zags, and checking in for her first round of minutes as a Gonzaga Bulldog, Cristobal Osorobo, a 5'11" freshman from Spain. She's in there in the corner, number 12. They're really high on her as a defender for the future of this team.
Which she's in a great program to have that happen.
Donarski with space to Bruno in the corner. She's been aggressive driving. Here's Waddington driving for 2. The Waddington family is here from Coeur d'Alene. We saw them beforehand. Pretty nice to have your kid playing half an hour away.
Yes, how nice is that?
Hybins. Mount's been pretty quiet shooting so far. 10 to go on the clock here. Zags running it down. Osorobo almost gave it up, and Hybins can't cash in. Waddington, great rebound, turns away Osorobo. To the corner, McClement call. That was nearly an air ball. Maybe it was. I'm not sure we got a good enough look.
It might have been tipped by Hybins. She might have gotten a piece of it.
Next dead ball takes us into the under 5 timeout. Here's Turner. He gave her a little too much space. Draws up some of the defense. Leaves it off. Mount Hybins, yes.
I love that cut by Hybins. You know, she could have easily just stayed outside the 3, but she saw that opening, and she cut to the rim, and nice little dish pass. That was beautifully played.
McClement call in the corner. Transfer in from Stephen F. Austin, where she hit over 100 3-pointers over the last 2 years. We have a kick ball on the floor, and that'll take us into the under 5 media timeout. Look at that score on your screen, 46-21. Gonzaga more than doubling up the Grizz. It has been a turbulent year for Gonzaga coach Lisa Fortier, but some welcome news came down this week. Back in February, she was diagnosed with stage 2 or stage 3 breast cancer, but stayed on to finish out the season. She began treatment in April, but she announced this week that she is now cancer-free. Michelle, I'm not even sure calling it a relief does that justice.
It doesn't. I mean, what she's been through at the end of last season, what her family has gone through all throughout the summer and everything, it's been a battle for Lisa.
Yep.
And she has handled it beautifully, and I couldn't be more happy for her to be at the point that she's at right now.
Big sigh of relief for everyone around the Gonzaga sports world as Avery Waddington gets that one down. It's funny, we said at the beginning of the broadcast, we can't believe that it's now been 11 years since she took over from Kelly Graves, but what she has done in her own image with this program has been remarkable in the last decade.
It really has, you know, and she took a lot of those core principles that Kelly put in place, but then she made some adjustments and made it her own, and it's been a phenomenal program to be able to follow in these last 11 years. So many good players coming in and out of here. It's been fun to watch.
Allie Turner finally missed a 3 on the other end there for the Bulldogs. Redshirt freshman has come out of the gate hot as Alex Pyrog puts it in off the glass. She's a shot blocker first and foremost, and they do need that from her tonight. But at this point, they just need points, so however you can get them.
However you can get them, and I like coming out of that break there. 2 good looks for the Grizz if they can keep that going and then string together some defensive stops.
Trying to find Betancourt on the ball screen. She'll take it on the weak side, up and under.
So smooth, nice little baseline dribble underneath the rim on the other side. Made it look like easy peasy.
Well, that last segment of basketball really ate past the under 5 media timeout, so only 2 minutes and change to go here until halftime. As Montana finally gets one down from outside. That was Abby Schubert, the Xavier transfer, with her first bucket of the season. This Montana team, though, Gonzaga has taken 11 more total shots than them already. They just need to work on putting more up. That'll be a foul as Betancourt heads to the ground.
I think that goes on Bruno.
And it does, MJ Bruno.
She's looking like, oh, what did I do, you know? But she was walking into Betancourt from behind it. Yeah, that's an easy call for the referees to make.
Ejim and Esther Little check back in for the Zags off the bench. So this is a tall look to have Little, Ejim, and Hybens out there.
Yes, you like that length, especially with the way that they're shooting the basketball too. They've got a couple mismatches that they could take advantage of.
Betancourt for Turner. The true freshman one-on-one with Koenig, and it's tipped away. I don't think Mount Hybens was looking for that one.
No, I don't think she was. It was the right idea, but it looked like Hybens was trying to come around and post up.
Koenig all the way. She's got it for 2. That's the kind of shot she's been looking for all night.
Absolutely, and the thing that the Zags need to stop, they're transitioning very well, and they're getting right into that rub screen where they're coming off into the rim there, and the Zags need to start picking them up early and not lay off on the defense.
Hybens rounded off, no good. Second chance for Ejim, and a foul.
Looks like Ejim got throat punched on that one. She was kind of grabbing her throat and coughing a little bit.
So Vonnie will get 2 at the line here. Michelle, big question.
Yeah.
Coming back for one more season as a 5th year. Is she top 5 in Gonzaga history?
I would say top 5 for sure. Yes, she is one of the greats, absolutely. Top 3, if we're going to go there, it gets a little bit shaky, right? But for 5 years, I mean, what Ejim has been able to rack up as far as accolades and what she has done with this program, she is top 5, hands down.
But she's in the all-time starting lineup.
Yep, for sure.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
What a treat to have her back for 1 year, considering they lost the rest of the starting lineup.
Yeah, that was probably a big one for Lisa and her staff to hear her say she's coming back.
Noah's a sigh of relief here in the building the day she announced it. Everyone came to the game that night high-fiving each other.
Yes, so excited, like Christmas morning.
Koenig, she's only hit 1 3 so far tonight. Off the ball foul on the block, and that'll be on Allie Turner. What a great first half she has had. Really impressive.
Yeah, kind of coming out as that true freshman, showing up and knocking down shots and saying, hey, I'm here to play.
20 on the shot clock here for Montana. They've hit 4 of their last 5 shots from the field. Here goes Koenig. One-on-one with Turner, and she gave it up.
Koenig just kind of got ahead of herself. She was moving a bit too fast and dribbled it right off her foot.
Might be last possession of the half for the Bulldogs here. 38 on the game clock. Now down to 25 on the shot clock. Betancourt had some space through the zone and just flung that one in a little too fast. But it looks like we actually have a... No, that's Montana ball. I thought so.
Yep. I wasn't sure if they were going to call a foul.
Yeah, me too.
Or, yeah.
All right, no shot clock, just game clock, and it's 25 seconds for the Grizz. Trying to cut into this 19-point Gonzaga lead. Waiting to pull the trigger. 10 on the clock. Koenig thought about it herself. It's Schubert. Almost had her second three, and that's the end of the half. Bulldogs by 19, Michelle.
And man, would they have come out into halftime if they would have knocked that down with a little momentum? They're going to need to come out, the Lady Grizz, a roaring if they want to get back into this game.
Have a real treat here. We're going to be joined by Gonzaga's head coach, Lisa Fortier, here as we close out the first half. Coach, 19-point lead at the end of the first half. People in this building maybe a little unsure with all the new faces how it was going to look. Looks pretty good to us.
It looks okay. Yeah, we got a little bit casual on defense, and I think we also got a little casual on offense. But our players have all we've shared the ball well, which is what we do here at Gonzaga, and we found our teammates for the most part. I like when we're making the simple pass for open shots versus trying to thread the needle a little bit, but we're doing all right.
Do you think the new players look pretty comfortable out there so far?
They don't seem to mind the fans or the environment, do they?
No, looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, Coach, a question mark coming into the game was outside shooting. How do you feel about this first half performance from your team?
Yeah, I think that we've done well when we've let it come to us. I think we've forced a couple, and those are ones that are hard to make. So I think that our team is, when we're letting it come to us, we have, Vaughn can make them, and Mal can make them, Allie can make them, Neshi can make them, rattle them off. But we're all better when we let it come to us versus taking the ones that are contested or off balance.
Coach, thank you so much. We'll see you after the game.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Bulldogs by 19. Stick around for the halftime show. That is coming up in just a minute as the Bulldogs are off and running to start the season. Gonzaga has so many new faces this year. This whole fan base was wondering as they walked into the kennel tonight, what is this going to look like? Is this game going to be somehow close? Not at the end of the first half. 49-30, Bulldogs on top of Montana here in the season opener. So glad to have you back with us here at halftime. Greg Talbot, Michelle Clark with you. Okay, so as we get ready to start this whole new season, it's a new look West Coast Conference for the Bulldogs because of the temporary 2-year membership for Washington State and Oregon State. All that said, Gonzaga still wins the preseason poll.
Yes, they do, and rightly so. I mean, look at their roster. They've got key players in Yvonne coming back, right? They have a tough schedule ahead of them, but they've got a solid program with good foundational tools set up to help them be successful.
Washington State, an NCAA tournament team a couple times over the last couple of years. The fact they get to play twice in conference play is going to be so much fun.
It is. I always love watching to see how the season prevails, right? Who's going to show up, what, injuries happen throughout the season, and then what teams kind of shift up and what teams may shift down.
And that Portland game, when they get to play a couple times, I mean, that one of those was on national TV last year. That's been a good game as well.
Yeah, it has. Well, and anytime they're on TV, right, everybody's going to show up and play hard.
Anybody on that list that you think we should be a little more wary of other than the top three?
Not necessarily. I mean, San Francisco can usually try to, come at you with some things, but maybe that's because they get overlooked a little bit.
Sure.
But no, I'd say that's a pretty solid list.
We're back with more on the halftime show. Highlights, stats, and more right after this break on ESPN+. Well, the Gonzaga men were up 49-30 at the half last night against Baylor. That ended up being a fun result. And the women now lead Montana 49-30 at the end of the first half in their season opener here on ESPN+. So happy to have you with us. Greg Talbot and Michelle Clark with you along for the ride. And Michelle, let's take a look at some of these first half highlights. They came out shooting out of the gate, especially from three.
Hey, and we said it at the start, right? That was our big question mark, but how fun was it to see Hybens, to see everybody start showing up, shooting the outside shot. We see everybody from the outside for Gonzaga there. Allie Turner, you see. And then Ejim says, I want to take a shot at it as well. It opened up everything for Ejim on the inside, knowing that her teammates were knocking down shots from the outside.
Bulldogs 6 for 10 from outside, a couple from Turner, a couple from Hybens. And then in transition, Ines Betancourt. Welcome to Spokane, man. She looks great.
She looks so good. And talk about filling those shoes in that void that we needed, right? She is filling those shoes and some and creating so much havoc for the Grizz in her drive, in her dishing, finding her teammates, being able to score around the rim like that. It's a nice little bonus in your point guard.
She's 5 for 7 from the floor with 4 assists. That's nothing to shake a stick at. And let's take a look at your halftime stats. Man, rebounds, doubling them up.
Yeah, rebounds, doubling them up. I mean, giving themselves more opportunities for shots at the rim. And then the big one that it stands out to me, Greg, is those turnovers, right? Anytime you're in double digits at halftime in turnovers, you're talking to your team saying, take care of the basketball. You're trending to go 20 turnovers in a game, and nobody wants that. You can't win basketball games that way.
The Grizz are shooting 50% from the floor as a team, and that is usually something you can be happy about, but not when your opponent is shooting 63%.
63% and getting second chance looks, shooting it from the outside. Yep, you're exactly right. 50% is decent, but man, 63, how do you stop that?
Second half in less than 5 minutes. Second half getting underway in just about 2 minutes here from the McCarthy Athletic Center on ESPN+. Greg Talbot and Michelle Clark taking you through this one. The season opener, Bulldogs leading by 19 as we get ready to start the second half. Well, this is game number 1, but the Zags have a lot of big ones ahead of them over the next couple weeks before they get to West Coast Conference play. Take a look at your screen. Woo, Stanford, Sunday, ESPN2. Be there.
It's going to be a good one. It always is,
Yeah.
right? I mean, anytime you've got Stanford, and it's been fun to see those two teams go back and forth, and they've come here before. It's going to be a good one.
So they got Stanford on the road. They get Cal at home. That'll be on November 14th. Paradise Jam, always a fun and tough one on the road over Thanksgiving weekend. And that Eastern game, Eastern Washington, has become sneaky good over the last couple of years because that team has been really talented.
It has, and they have done a great job of growing that program. And, you know, it's kind of like the battle of the Spokane teams.
Yeah.
Who's going to get it? And they always put up a good fight and have to keep the Zags on their toes.
Well, these Zags lead by 19 as we get ready to start the second half. Is there anything, Michelle, that you think is glaringly obvious that needs to change?
Well, one, the Grizz are going to need to come out raring to go. Defensively, they need to string together some stops, right? Get a little bit more in their shorts, as I say it, right? They've proven that they're shooting really well from the outside, so the Grizz needs to get up a little bit closer, get a hand in their face to stop that outside shooting. And then, you know, just offensively running their – getting to the rim like they've been doing, but converting and trying to get themselves some second chance shots. That's what's going to get them back into this game.
As an English teacher, that one is troublesome to me, that sign. Can we get an S? I'll buy an S. That's Wheel of Fortune. Okay, meanwhile, back on the floor, here's the starting 5 for the Zags, same as started the game.
Yes. You want an S, but it takes the fun out of it, Greg.
Sure.
Come on.
Sure. Betancourt back out there to run point for the Bulldogs. I think we're all pretty impressed, Michelle.
Absolutely. Very impressed. You know, we all had question marks, not sure what we were going to see. Obviously, we had some returners and knew what we could expect from them. But, man, I've been pleasantly surprised to see how this group has been flowing together.
So Danny Barch inbounds it to Matt Koenig. We said that Danny Barch was the player to watch for Montana. She had 18 and 10 against the Zags a year ago. They have held her scoreless as Pyrod converts, but Barch has not taken a single shot.
She hasn't, and she had some good drives and good looks, but man, credit it to the Gonzaga defense. They are very good at knowing their assignments and sticking to it, and they've done a really good job on Barch tonight.
Trying to D up on Hybens, and Mount puts it in right over her head. So Mount Hybens, we can talk about this now that we have a minute here, Michelle. She's always been so dependable with the Zags. WCC 6th Man of the Year last year, but can she be a star this year?
You know, do we need her to be a star? That's what comes to my mind.
Sure.
She's just such a solid player. She's going to give you good minutes every single time on the court, but I don't know that we necessarily need her to be a star. We just need her to be consistent, and then we need Ejim to be the star, and then another guard to come with her. Maybe that's Allie Turner. You know, maybe that's Betancourt. Maybe that's Dylan. Like, they've got those players. I don't know that she needs to be that one.
Abby Schubert checks in for Montana. They got a sub in just 1 minute after the start of the third quarter. That's interesting. This Montana defense has had their tough share here. Like we said at halftime, Bulldogs shooting 63% as a group. It's hard to imagine that's going to keep up over the course of the season, but it's a nice thing to start with.
It really is, especially considering that Brenna Maxwell isn't on the floor, the Trong sisters aren't there, Hollingsworth isn't there, and they're shooting this percentage already this early.
Barch tips that one away and out of bounds. She and Mount Hybens are chirping, but they've got smiles on their faces. I think they're having fun together.
I think so, too. I couldn't tell which way it was going.
Betancourt, little short. Oh, what a rebound by Esther Little. Esther's gotten her season started well. And Betancourt can't finish. We have contact down low. And that'll be on the Zags. Esther Little, that was a great rebound.
Really good rebound. I mean, speaking of ex-players, it was a little bit Eliza Hollingsworth, right? She always cleaned up the glass in that sense. Fun to see Esther Little come through and pick that up.
I feel like everyone has been talking about losing Brenna Maxwell or the Trong sisters. Not enough people have been talking about what losing Eliza Hollingsworth is for this team.
I know. She did all those little things, getting those rebounds, key plays, defensive stops. I loved watching Eliza Hollingsworth. And you know what? Esther Little can be that person this year.
Mac Koenig bricks that one. That ball is loose, and Turner has the rebound, and she'll run. Manages to get Barch off her back, make a little bit of space, and an off-the-ball foul down low.
And that is so hard to defend. You see Yvonne Ejim getting down to the block early and just creating space. Again, I said it before earlier, if you get stuck behind Yvonne Ejim, you're done, right? It's so hard to get around her. She is so strong. She posts up at your kneecaps. How do you move your body and get around her?
They got Allie Turner back in off the bench really quickly. They love having her out there. The true freshman has been really impressive. In case you're just tuning in, couple big threes and nearly another big three there by Mount Hybens, who put one down early. Claire O'Connor got in there a little too aggressively, and that's a foul on her.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Allie Turner has pleasantly surprised me tonight.
Yeah.
Coming in, I wasn't really sure what to expect out of the true freshman, and she has really brought it, and it's been fun to watch.
Coach Fortier has been calling her fearless for the last couple weeks as they've been getting ready for this season. That's a good word for a true freshman.
Yes.
Down low, and Lincoln puts that one in. Montana trying to eat into this lead, but both teams a little bit slower to start the second half of basketball. Another off-the-ball foul down low. That one is on Pyrog.
Yvonne Ejim, she's an All-American. We've already talked about it, but she is putting on a clinic right now. Any of the young post players out there watching, you see her run the court. She stops dead center in that key, and she starts posting up, and she has now created 2 fouls for the Grizz because of it.
3 on the Grizz here in the third quarter, 2 on the Zags. O'Connor down low to Hybens, and they trapped her. Ball's loose, back to Mount. Force it off the front of the iron. This ball is loose again. Esther Little's got that one. Out to Turner. The freshman a little bit short. She wanted another 3.
I love how hard the Zags work on the boards, right? They are scrappy. They're always constantly nose pursuing the basketball and kept it alive to give themselves a second chance look there.
3 minutes into the second half. Zags have only made 1 shot. They are 0 for 5 on their last attempts from the field.
Yeah, they've had some easy looks that they haven't been able to knock down, which is a little bit uncharacteristic.
Waddington's back into the game from Lake City High School in Coeur d'Alene. They feed down low to Zingaro, and the Iowa State transfer had the right angle.
Hey, Zingaro saying, I can put on a clinic too. Watch me post up.
6'4" and physical. She has the unenviable task right now of guarding Yvonne Ejim. Here they go one-on-one. Vonnie up and under. Offensive foul on Vonnie.
That's a tough call right there. It looked like she was still moving with her. Nice strong take by Ejim.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Maybe she lowered her shoulder just a little bit. You see her drop down a little lower, but I don't know if defense had position there. Tough call.
Koenig is really great at getting space, stepping back, She tries to get to the rim here, forced that one up and gets it to go. And the Grizzly bench erupts.
Yeah, she had to fight hard for that one.
Waddington almost had another easy two. And now Turner will run it for the Zags. O'Connor forced that one off. Gonzaga 0 for 6 in their last 6 shots.
And Little cleaning up the glass again for the Zags, giving them another opportunity for a shot.
Montana's on a 6-0 run in the last minute and a half. This is Dalen. She just came in off the bench. That one swatted away, but it might have been clean. As McClement Call checks back in for Montana, they send Lincoln to the bench. And it looks like Gonzaga wants a timeout, and we will take it with them. Grizz have not eaten into this lead, but the Zags have slowed down. Well, we have done a lot of talking about Allie Turner so far tonight for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, but a lot of freshmen they're very excited to have on the team. We talked about Osorobo, who's gotten in a little bit tonight. Lauren Whitaker is hurt, so she is not playing right now, but they expect a lot out of her later this season here.
And I'm excited to watch them, too. It's a good freshman class coming in. Obviously, we've gotten to see Turner come in, and she's shown some really good minutes. But, man, how much of a powerhouse will they be adding Whitaker when she's healthy enough to play?
Yeah, they already expect her as a redshirt freshman to eventually be the main forward off the bench. Coach Fortier says that there aren't many players out there who play so fluidly at her height. She is 6'3". Can't wait to have her back out there. The Zags as a whole just hurt right now. A little bit of a mash unit. Really only 9 players tonight who they plan on playing at all, as that one is a little bit long from a Clement Call.
And, you know, they're just going to have to get used to playing some heavier minutes until they get some healthier teammates back into the flow with them. But they're, as we can see, they're a well-conditioned team. I think they can handle it.
Doesn't seem to have been a problem so far. Zags 1 of 9 from the field on their last shot attempts. That one is loose, and Turner has the rebound. What has changed here? What did Montana figure out?
You know, they came out kind of like what we talked about, with a little bit of urgency and intensity. Closing out at that last time out there, they were 8-2, beating the Zags, and the Zags kind of cooled off. Listen, the Grizz have not. They're still hungry. They're still attacking the rim. Defensively, they've still got to string together some stops here. They're throwing GU off their game a bit, and then they got to keep converting offensively.
Zags have only scored 4 points in the last 5.5 minutes, believe it or not. And that'll take us into our first media timeout of the third quarter here. Something's got to change for Gonzaga on offense. We'll see if they can do it after this. Well, one of the fun things about Gonzaga women's basketball is that so many teams that they have come into play are teams that have local connections. Let's tell you a little bit about all the Montana connections to Spokane and Gonzaga. Right there you see Tyler McClement Call. She's from Spokane, played for U-High in high school. Her mom played for Gonzaga in the 90s. Same is true for MJ Bruno as well. Avery Waddington's from Coeur d'Alene. There's a lot of Spokane love in this building tonight, even if they're wearing maroon.
Yes, you know what? In Spokane is that basketball hub, right? But not everybody's going to come. Hooptown. They're not all going to come play at Gonzaga, though. So they show up in the Montana Grizz, and it's fun to have them back here. I'm sure their families are enjoying this tonight.
Down the lane, that was Macy Donarski, who missed just off to the left. And Zags able to corral it. Here's Ines Betancourt back running the point, who has already scored 10 points here in her first game as a Zag with 5 assists. Man, she's been fun to watch. Very smooth.
Very smooth and just very solid, right? Like just distributing the basketball, running, being the floor general, getting people where they need to be. I've been pleasantly surprised by her.
Esther Little has not done a lot of scoring tonight, just 2 points, but she's been really impressive elsewhere. Gave that pass up, but it's a kickball by McClement Call. What do they need out of Esther this year?
You know, I think Esther, she just needs to show up and do all the little things like we've been seeing her do. Offensive rebounds, setting good screens, you know, getting her teammates open. And then when the opportunity arises for her to put some points on the glass, put them on the glass. She's doing a good job of it tonight.
Second chance for the Zags after a sensational rebound by Mount Hybens there. 10 on the shot clock. Betancourt, bang.
Just so smooth and solid, right? Just letting the game come to her, finding that opening and knocking down the big three.
Zags needed that to break the scoreless streak. Ines now has 13 points, and that leads the team at the moment. There's Donarski into traffic, draws the foul.
And you see Daylon say, oh, she wasn't sure if that was a foul. I thought that was a good defensive play. She used her length, but there might have been a little body on that the referees saw at the end there.
Donarski makes her first, and we have a check in here. They'll send Pyrog back out there. Donarski at the line. This is her first game on the court as a Montana Grizzly, a redshirt freshman. Hits her first. Family sport. Her sister plays for North Carolina. That's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
That is fun to have another sister in the game.
And I forget who, someone else on this team has a sister who played for NC State. So there's some kind of connection going on here. And they go back to Betancourt. She looks really comfortable running this group of players who she has not played with before.
Yeah, and a whole new offense, right? A whole new system, a whole new style, and she just seems to fit in really well and seem very comfortable on this home court.
Allie Turner, the teardrop from the true freshman. The Zags offense is starting to catch a little more fire. It's back to an 18-point lead.
And it was just as Coach Fortier said, right? They're best when they let the game come to them.
Pyrog down low. She's been good on the post.
She really has. Positioning herself, fighting for that position, calling for the basketball. That was a nice, easy dump down and turn around for 2 points.
Tried to beat Betancourt. Betancourt nearly beat them with a good three. Montana keeps trying to get in front of the ball, but you can't do that if you're going to give it up.
No, you can't.
Donarski, left hand, fouled.
Yeah, those are such hard plays defensively, right? The Grizz need to come up with something. They need to have some sort of intensity, and so with that, you got to take some risk. But with great risk, kind of comes great fallout, and it gets you in a bad position defensively and allows the Zags to score. They weren't able to convert on that, but the Grizz have got to be careful when they're taking some of that risk defensively and jumping in front of those basketballs.
Donarski again. 3 for 3 from the free throw line now. And the lead is down to 14. It was 19 at halftime. And now they'll send back in Matt Koenig, who wants a couple more points of her own for the Grizz. So this is going to be an important next 2.5 minutes for Montana.
Mm-hmm. And you see him kind of full court pressing here.
There's really only so much ground you can make up in the fourth quarter. They need to do some now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The freshman turns it around and give it to Hybens. Had a foul off in the corner. Assistant coach Craig Fortier wants to know what that's about. And that'll be on Montana. Turn it inbound, it finds Vonnie. One-on-one with Waddington, that's a tough assignment. Back to Turner in the corner, and the freshman is making a name for herself. That's 11 points.
Is so smooth about getting her feet set and straight away to the rim. That looked like just another day at the office for Turner.
What a first game in a Bulldog uniform. Are you kidding me?
I know. I love it, especially out of your true freshman. It's so fun to see. Wow, that's what we're going to have for the next 3 more years to come.
Not for nothing. I mean, I know that she looked good in that scrimmage against Arizona State, and people loved her in that exhibition game against the College of Idaho, but this is a different beast. This is a real game, and she still looks great.
Yes. What did Coach Fortier say? She's fearless?
Fearless.
I love that, especially out of a freshman. You want that.
This is Koenig at the free throw line. With that free throw, she's now got 10 points on the night, but she's put up 14 shots. They've asked her to do a lot.
They really have, and she has delivered. She's played a really hard game. I like seeing her get herself to the free throw line to try to knock down some easy ones, which she did for the Grizz.
Betancourt to Turner to O'Connor. That is a good-looking three-guard lineup. All three can pass and all three can shoot. So what's it going to be? Down low, Hybens fouled. I think that's Pyrog again. It is. It's another foul for her. That'll send her to the bench. Zingara will come in to take her place as Mount goes to the free throw line.
You know, the Zags do have a height advantage from the guard position on the Grizz, and that's one thing they've been able to. The Grizz haven't put a ton of pressure on them defensively on their guards, and their guards are long, so they kind of have been able to pass at will and see the court wherever they wanted. They've been able to get the ball inside, and you see Hybens making the most of it here.
Grad student now from the Netherlands. That went fast. A lot of these fantastic players, it seems like they just got here. Now they're seniors and graduate students, and man, it just goes fast. Down low, Lincoln. She's been good on the post tonight, too.
She has. I like that little high-low there between the two of them. The Zags kind of got caught sleeping a little bit. They came through that up and under.
She's got 7 points on the night now, and there's 1 minute to go here in the third quarter. We approach the three-quarter mark of this season-opening basketball game. Betancourt, long two, a little bit short. Excellent board by Avery Waddington and a jump ball, but this will stay with Gonzaga.
Again, this
no,
is
it's Montana's. I take it back.
This is something that is taught from day one with the Zags, is pursuing the basketball off of those offensive boards. You saw two Zags surrounding the Grizz there, and they tied it up. Jump ball just went to the Grizz.
Koenig, great at creating space. She'll find Waddington. Little off the mark from the Lake City graduate. No difference between the game clock and the shot clock. 25 and 25. Foul as Ines went to the rim. And that'll be on Koenig.
I love the recognition from Betancourt, right? She's a very smart player. If you watch her, she bringing the ball up, she saw an opportunity to get to the rim, and she took it, and now she's going to be able to have 2 opportunities at free throws here and points for her team.
That'll stay 13 points for Betancourt because somebody was screaming bloody murder in the stands. Hope that's a Montana fan or something. Hope that's not someone in the Kennel Club, for goodness sake. Probably last possession of the third quarter here for the Grizzlies. They're down 16. Down low, it's Lincoln. Foul, one more.
Oh, O'Connor, she just got caught there in the little back door. She just wasn't ready defensively. See that little back door, and then she got out of position, and that's what you don't want to do. If you're going to foul her, make her earn it at the stripes.
There's the sophomore from the west side. 3-point play, down to a 13-point lead. And MJ Bruno bumps Betancourt in the backcourt. And they'll give her free throws here. Free points is not what they were hoping for.
And that's a foul that Bruno did not want to close out the third quarter, going into the fourth with 4 fouls. That's just one of those where she just needed to lay off and let her go. She's a key player for the Grizz, and now she's going to have to sit the bench for most of the fourth quarter.
Someone you needed to cut into that lead is the thing. She hits the first. 15 points in her Gonzaga debut so far, making a real case to be our player of the game tonight. And she's got the back end. Danny Bartsch back in here for Montana, who scored 18 against the Bulldogs last year. Quiet tonight. Koenig. 3, 2, 1. Gotta go up. It was late and she gave it up. 3 quarters down, 1 to go, and a 15-point lead for the Gonzaga Bulldogs in the season opener. It's a new era, and it's looking pretty good. Well, we've been talking about all the new faces for the Gonzaga Bulldogs on the floor, but we have a familiar face joining, or rejoining the team rather, on the bench. You just saw her. former Gonzaga star, Jasmine Redmond. She's back as an assistant coach and video coordinator now.
And I love seeing old Zags come back to be part of the team. Jazzy was a phenomenal player here at Gonzaga. I had the opportunity to coach her, and she was just such a pleasure, and it's fun to see her back on this bench, embarking on this new generation of Zags.
So Jazzy had been around in Spokane. She was the coach at University High School in the Valley, then decided she wanted to get in the college coaching game, went to Fresno State, and then when a job came open at Gonzaga, of course, they had to take the opportunity to have her come home as Vonnie dials up a big three.
I don't know. Is Yvonne telling us, hey, guys, I'm going to knock down 1 or 2 threes consistently a game now? This is going to be her big, new stat sheet to just keep patting.
3-point opportunity. Zingaro got that one. Good luck stopping her, man.
Yeah, Zingaro, she just creates a lot of space down low. The Zags got stuck, and if you lob it up to her, it's game over.
And Zingaro's got one more. No subs for the Zags off that. And there's Jazzy. She was so tenacious. So, Michelle, you were coaching when she was in school, so you coached her. I was at Gonzaga that same time, so we were all there together. Watching her from the Kennel Club, man, she was one of the most aggressive women's players that I ever saw in uniform here.
Yep, she was so fun. She was such a competitor. She loved to compete. You always knew that Jazzy would give 110% at practice, and in the games, you never questioned it.
Yeah, she was on the no messing around squad.
Yep.
Koenig fired that one high. A couple times she's done that, but good luck getting the right angle over the 6'3" Mott Hybens, who's maybe closer to 6'4", actually.
Yeah, the height inside for the Zags is hard.
Another three from Allie Turner. 14 points in her Gonzaga debut.
And how fun is that to see? I'm sure the coaching staff is very happy to see their freshmen knocking down some shots.
The Grizz want a timeout. It's nearly a 20-point lead for the Bulldogs. We'll take that break, and it's almost taco time in the Kennel. Actually, it is. That was 10. It's taco time. We'll take a break. 72-54, Gonzaga in their season opener. Michelle, let's take the people behind the curtain here. When you and I were talking before the game tipped off, we said, I don't know about this one. I don't know how we feel. This is a Montana team that's good, a lot of new Zags. This game might end up being close. We were wrong.
We were wrong. And I mean, and I'm not, disappointed by it by any
no, it's
means,
a good thing for
right?
the Zags,
yeah, it's a very good thing. But yeah, we had a lot of question marks coming in, and man, how many times have we said tonight, I'm pleasantly surprised. She has pleasantly surprised me. I think the coaching staff at Gonzaga have got to be very happy with what they're seeing out of their Zags tonight.
Donarski working out top on Allie Turner, who has been such a star tonight. Lincoln down the lane and a charge.
That was great defense, great salesmanship a little bit too, and that's what you got to do to get an offensive foul. But Bettencourt, I mean, she is a wise player. Obviously, she has got some good years underneath her. That was good all around.
Zags have a lot of their stars still out there despite this big lead, as that'll be a foul on the Grizzlies on the shot. Then again, Michelle, it might be because they have so few players available on the bench.
Yeah, and this team, I wouldn't be surprised if Lisa keeps them in a little bit more because they're still trying to find their continuity, and we've seen a great outing from this team, but they're all still trying to find their flow together too. So giving them a little extra minutes in this opener isn't a bad thing.
Okay, so there are some of the injuries: Salenbine, Dalton, and Whitaker. Now we know that Dalton, the St. Mary's transfer, was in a boot. She's clearly not in a boot there. That's good news, which means maybe back sooner rather than later, we can hope.
Hopefully sooner than later. She had a great personality, good energy for the team during the shoot-around. Obviously, she was sitting on the bench, but man, if she brings that kind of energy that she had on the bench during shoot-around, I can't wait to see what she brings on the court.
It's going to help to have even more great forwards available 3 on the shot clock. Got to get rid of it. Donarski held it too long. Actually, they're going to let him play. All right. What is this forward lineup going to look like? That's going to be amazing if you have Whitaker, Dalen, Ejim, Hybens, Little, and then Dalton. Man, what a great forward lineup.
Such a great forward lineup. I mean, it's just exchange of the guards, right? 2 bigs for some other 2 good, experienced bigs. It'll be fun to watch for sure. And nice for the coaches to know, hey, if we sub Hybens and Ejim out, there's not going to be a letdown.
And there is that 20-point lead they've been looking for. Well, 21, actually. They've been pushing up against that. 3. A little bit short that time by Barch. She hasn't been able to get it done from inside, so she thought about trying it outside. Hybens, 3. Almost another deep one. Ejim made that rebound in traffic. She was triple teamed. Esther Little will move in rotation. A third chance opportunity. I thought Ejim had the rebound there. It'll be a foul.
That just shows you how strong Ejim is, right? Getting in there, rebounding, grabbing the ball down. She is solid muscle, Yvonne Ejim, and she's going to come out and get a little bit of a break there for the Zags. But, man, she's an All-American for a reason.
She might be done for the night. If she is, she'll finish with 17 points and 8 boards and 2 assists. What a season opener for the honorable mention All-American. And according to our great Michelle Clark here, one of the top 5 all time.
Yep.
They're starting to rack up a lot of useless fouls here in the last 10 minutes. This is getting a little sloppy.
I know, and you don't want to see that, but, I mean, the Grizz are desperate to create something, so of course they're going to bring as much as they can. A little breakdown there defensively, as you see from Dalen, just not reading the defense there, but the Grizz were able to capitalize.
Gave the true freshman Waddington an easy 2, who has looked pretty darn good in her first college game against a really big-time opponent. As we're at the under 6-minute mark to finish this one off. We have not seen Dalen very much in the second half, Michelle, but she looked great in the first half.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, Greg. The first half, obviously, we were like, wow, yeah, keep shooting the basketball. Nice, smooth little jumper. Second half has been a little quiet.
Speaking of big shots, that's Abby Schubert, her second 3 of the game for Montana. Yeah, wonder why we haven't seen as much of Dalen.
It could be just that she's still coming back from a bit of an injury, right? And so they're trying to limit her minutes a little bit.
Here is Dalen over to Betancourt. Had an excellent third quarter, a little quieter so far in the fourth. There's Dalen, made a move to the rim and got fouled.
Yeah, nice little read there. She set an off-ball screen, rolled to the rim, wide open, chest to the basketball, got herself to the free throw line.
That's on Donarski. She'll go to the bench, and they'll bring in Koenig again and Tyler McClement call. A lot of former Zags in the building tonight as mothers of players.
A little bittersweet, I'm sure, for them. You know,
sure.
Of course, you always want your daughter to win.
You can root for both teams.
You can root for both teams.
If you're from Spokane, you can always root for Gonzaga no matter what.
Very true. Very true.
And there's Dalen. Man, she is a pure shot. That is 12 points. She was loud about it in the second quarter, but man, since then, it's been a little quieter. But I'm really impressed.
I am too, and I'm excited to see what she can do in these last 4 minutes here for the Zags. Now that Ejim's on the bench and they need a little bit of scoring power to finish this game out.
Turner on the move. The true freshman has 14 points. Willing to pass it off there. She's pointing to the basket, like she was looking for a pass there. Winding down the shot clock. Turner taking her time. The freshman again. Allie Turner, 17 points in her first game as a Zag.
She is just so smooth, and she can get her feet set so quickly. It is fun to watch that freshman.
Fearless is the correct adjective.
Yes. you know, teams are going to start to recognize that and hone in on her and guard her a little bit closer. That's one thing that the Grizz have not, you know, made that adjustment to say, okay, she can shoot the ball. Let's not give her so much space. They gave her way too much space to knock that down.
She is now tied with Yvonne Ejim for the team lead in points tonight with 17. Ines here running the point has 16. So 2 new Zags well into the double digits. And they gave that one up. Unforced error. Schubert to the floor with Dalen.
You know, it's a little reminiscent of last year's Zags, where we would have easily see 4, if not all 5 Zags in double digits. And we're starting off this season seeing close to the same thing.
Hybens to the bench. I would have to think, Michelle, that this confidence that we are seeing from them is going to be really important for this week of practice leading up to the Stanford game.
Oh, absolutely. This game will give them so much confidence in each other as teammates, in them individually as players too, going into a very good Stanford team on the road.
Give and go to Ejim. Gave it up. Turner. Man, that dead eye almost had another. Were you, when you coached for Gonzaga, did they play at Stanford?
Yes, we did.
What is it like to play down there?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I was part of the first ever women's basketball team that made the NCAA tournament, and our first game was at Stanford. We didn't play Stanford, but on their floor, and it was pretty special. But, you know, we had Ellie Tinkle. And
how good was she?
Oh,
man,
so good.
One of the greats.
So we kind of started that rivalry because her sister, Jocelyn, who now is a coach at Pacific, or excuse me, not Pacific, Pepperdine, we started that because of the sisters, and it went back and forth. And Stanford is just a special place to play at. It's much like our arena here in McCarthy.
Third chance opportunity for the Bulldogs on this possession. The rebounding has been excellent tonight across the board. 36-20, nearly doubled up Montana on the boards. 3 to shoot. Turner, got to be fearless. I don't think she saw the shot clock and they gave it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure she was aware of the shot clock situation there. Otherwise, I bet she would have gone up.
Waddington, big 3. But at this point, 17-point game. 2 minutes left.
Too little, too late, a little bit. But, yeah, big 3. Would have loved to have had one of those knocked down for them in the first or second quarter.
Now, obviously, we've spent a lot of time tonight talking about the Bulldogs. If you're Montana, some things to be happy about tonight?
Yeah, I would think so. This is a tough place to come into.
Is it the hardest on the West Coast?
By far the hardest on the West Coast to come in and play in this type of arena and environment. And, yes, some new faces for the Zags, but also they've got an All-American in Yvonne Ejim. How do you create a game plan? Like we said in the open, your game plan isn't to stop Yvonne because an All-American is going to get their points. Your game plan is to limit her. And, man, they had multiple other Zags show up tonight. So the Grizz, I think they can be happy with their play. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of takeaways for them to get better from after this game.
So, obviously, we will hear from Coach Fortier on the post-game press conference. You can always watch those on the Gonzaga Athletics YouTube channel if you're interested at home. She always has things to work on. What do you think she wants them to work on this week?
That's a great question, Greg. I would say in this second, third and fourth quarter, there were some defensive breakdowns. And as much as I know Lisa and how much she, hounds on them with defense, she's probably going to have some defensive breakdowns for them to get better from, especially going into a team like Stanford.
Inside 2 minutes to play. Vera Gnaiden just checks in. This will be her first burn of minutes as a Gonzaga Bulldog, a junior who transferred from South Georgia Technical College. She has come a long way. McClement Call in transition for the 2.
And I'm sure part of the breakdown, right, is going to be just some easy bunny passes, right? Like that one from Yvonne to the wing there that they tipped off and converted into 2 points. Just even though it's a late game, that's the kind of stuff that Lisa will hound on her team about if you want to be great, that's the difference right there. Great teams don't make those type of turnovers late in the game, even if you are ahead.
Wrong angle on that entry pass from Esther Little. Koenig, 3, Little long. Pyrog's there, second chance and a foul. Ella Hopkins checks in for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. The redshirt freshman, she's a walk-on. Nice to get her some playing time. You know, she might actually get some legit playing time with so many injuries, potentially.
Yeah, you just never know when your number is going to get called, especially when you've got injuries going on this early in the season. Yeah, you always have to be ready.
They have leaned on Pyrog a lot tonight for Montana. Missed that free throw, but she'll keep the 7-point number. Trying to get out of the trap, and that'll take us down to the last minute of this season opener for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. People low-key thought this might be a tight game. It was not tight in the first 5 minutes, and it did not get tighter as time went on. Hybens, easy 2.
Nice step through from Hybens, putting on a little post-session clinic there.
35 seconds to go in this one. Pyrog down low, another easy 2. Some kind of timeout on the floor, despite the score and the time left. Well, let's talk to you about our player of the game tonight. We had a couple of options. Hybens had 14 points. Yvonne Ejim had 17 points. Ines Betancourt had 16 points. We're going to give it to the superstar true freshman Allie Turner, 17 points in her first game as a Gonzaga Bulldog, 5 for 8 from downtown and 6 assists. Welcome to the party, kid.
Welcome to the party, fearless freshman, knocking down big points for the Zags. I'm sure the coaching staff coming out of this game is going, okay, freshmen can play. And now they're going to have another game plan to put together, incorporating their freshmen into that offensive play a little bit more.
The exhibition was not nothing, right? But it's not the same as doing that in your first real game.
Absolutely.
Double teamed. Timeout. Now the question is Stanford going to bottle her up on Sunday? That's going to be a different beast as a true freshman.
Right, because their guards are going to be just as long as Gonzaga's guards are.
Yep.
There was a little bit of a size difference here between the Zags and the Grizz, but they're going to be long. They're going to be just as sound defensively as the Zags are too, and so it's going to take that extra effort and, you know, attention to detail to get the job done there.
Again, that is Sunday on ESPN2. And I believe right at the conclusion of that game over on Big ESPN, the Gonzaga men against Arizona State. So a good Sunday of Gonzaga basketball for you on the ESPN family of networks.
Yeah, you said you already have your Sunday all planned out, right, Greg?
On the couch.
Church, and then on the couch for all the games.
Everything Gonzaga. St. Al's and a couple Gonzaga basketball games. What's not to like?
Yes, there's nothing better.
Coach Fortier smiling. She's like, can we just wrap this up, please? What are we doing with the fouls? She's like, come on.
30 seconds is turning into 3 minutes.
It's like the end of an NFL game.
Yeah, yeah.
And here is Allie Turner, who has a chance, with a couple free throws here, to take the outright scoring lead tonight for the Bulldogs. Now she'll stay with 17 for the time being. Feels like we met a new, truly great Zag tonight, don't you think?
Yes, and it's one of those that I am so excited to watch her grow up in this program and to be saying, you know, at the end of her career, wow, look at how she came in as a freshman.
Remember that first game?
Yes, yes.
There's Waddington. Another timeout for Gonzaga. I think coach is not happy about the way this last couple of minutes have gone.
I agree.
She doesn't look happy.
She, she's a true coach, right? It doesn't matter the score. You want to finish it out correctly. And these are the types of things that she's taken advantage of early in the season to coach and correct her team, because you know what? It's not about this game now either. It's about getting them prepared for Stanford, which is right around the corner.
It's going to be a great Sunday of basketball. Awfully fun to have Cal coming in after that. Two of the great ACC teams, legendary ACC teams, Stanford and Cal. What an era we live in.
It is, and everything's getting tossed up and turned around, right? Like who's in which league this year and this league next year. Everything's getting turned around, but they are two of the greats, and that is a tough preseason schedule for the Zags.
It's going to be a good one. If you're that kid's English teacher, talk to him tomorrow. 23 and change to play here in the McCarthy Athletic Center in this season opener. We weren't sure Gonzaga was going to hit 60 tonight. Well, that was not a problem. Over 80 to start this new year off right with so many new players. A lot of confidence for this Gonzaga team can be had after this first game. 82-69. A new era in Gonzaga basketball is off to a great start.
That was a fun one, Greg. Off to a phenomenal start. They got to feel good about this one going into Stanford next.
Allie Turner, 18 points. Yvonne Ejim, 17. Ines Betancourt, 16. Mount Hybens, 14. McKinley Dalen, 12 off the bench.
Yeah, she's got to feel good about that performance. Not very many minutes, but man, she had a huge impact.
So, big win against the Montana Grizzlies. Up next, a couple days of practice, then you get on that flight down to the farm, and they take on the Stanford Cardinal Sunday afternoon. ESPN2 will be watching. Hope you at home will be watching as well. It's a new era. It's going to be a good era. So we will say goodnight now from the McCarthy Athletic Center as the Zags start off the season with a huge win, 13 points. For Michelle Clark and the rest of our ESPN Plus crew, I'm Greg Talbot. It's a great day to be a Zag in Hooptown, USA.